look like I got it all together. Lying to myself like I'm down for whatever. Time to put up walls cause I'm catching feelings. Afraid to get hurt, what I need is some healing. Where are you? Are you hiding? How dare you? I barely surviving. I'm a man and I've been playing games. Tired of the same old same, but I need you now. Where have you been? I'm just looking for love. Looking for love. I'm looking for love.
Chapter 6. Hadassah was waiting patiently at Atlanta's Hartsfield Airport. She was dressed in a black velour jumpsuit and sporting the latest Jordans. Her hair was braided in tiny micro braids that reached her lower back. Hadassah was happy she would not have to worry about styling her hair during vacation. She was bubbling up on the inside with excitement as she listened to music on her new MP3 player. In several hours, she would be arriving in Anchorage, Alaska, to visit Taylor. Although Taylor was adopted by Hadassah's parents and her ethnicity was white, the two sisters were as close as if they were conceived from the same womb. Hadassah took it extremely hard when Taylor moved thousands of miles away to attend the University of Alaska, Anchorage. Hadassah's thoughts were interrupted by an unhappy toddler having a tantrum on the floor. "Me want more goldfish," the chubby toddler demanded. He had goldfish crumbs plastered all over his mouth, hands, and shirt. His poor mother looked exhausted and embarrassed. Hadassah giggled to herself. She looked forward to being a mommy one day. Hadassah's mind wandered to Troy. It has been 2 weeks since that night he stayed over. Things took an unexpected turn. They had not seen or communicated much since that next morning. It was apparent their relationship had reached another level. However, they both have been busy the last few weeks with work and obligations.
The flight for Denver, Colorado will begin allowing passengers to board the plane in 1 hour.
A male's voice boomed across the speakers. Hadassah only had one stop, which landed in Denver. It would connect to Alaska. She was glad there was enough time to use the ladies' room and connect her laptop to the airport's internet. Hadassah quickly checked her MySpace to see if she had any new messages. She was surprised to have received a friend request and message from Tasha.
"Why would that witch send me a friend request?"
Hadassah said out loud. She read Tasha's short message. "Hey, Hadassah girl. My bad for the way things went at the VIP lounge. I would love for us to be cordial and go out for a drink in the future." Hadassah did not trust that woman's motives. She decided to delay replying. Hesitantly, she accepted Tasha's friend request. She quickly stuffed her laptop into a carry-on bag, grabbed her cute jacket, and walked quickly to board the plane to Denver. Hadassah woke up during her flight to Anchorage. As soon as her neighbor sitting next to her saw her eyes open, he began talking non-stop. Hadassah sighed loudly. She was convinced the man had diarrhea of the mouth. The first part of the flight, he talked non-stop about his cat allergies, future investments, fear of spiders, and his entire life story. Hadassah tried to be polite at first, then she ignored him, and he still did not get the hint. Hadassah began looking out the window and saw the beautiful mountains and water as they began landing. "Passengers, please stay in your seat. We will be arriving at Anchorage International Airport shortly," the flight attendant announced on the intercom. The man sitting next to Hadassah began complaining loudly. Hadassah could not take it any longer. She turned from the window with a serious expression.
"Sir, do you have diarrhea of the mouth? I have tried to enjoy our flight and presently this beautiful view."
The man's face turned red as a tomato as his mouth hung open in shock. He pretended that Hadassah did not exist for the remainder of the flight. Hadassah was extremely happy to be on land again. The flight from Denver to Anchorage was a long flight. Hadassah quickly grabbed her luggage from baggage and walked towards arrival. She began searching for long blonde hair and Taylor's face in the crowd. This airport was extremely small compared to Atlanta and Denver. "Hadassah!" a familiar male voice shouted. Hadassah spotted a handsome, athletic, and attractive man with blonde hair walking towards her. He had a gorgeous smile with sparkling white teeth with a slight gap.
Brady!
She responded as she walked towards him. He sported a polo shirt with beige khakis. Brady's family ran a prosperous business selling various types of outdoor, camping, snow, and ski equipment and products. Hadassah was partly happy to see Brady. However, she was not ready to face him. It was starting to weigh heavily on her conscience, keeping the truth from him. That was a huge reason she had been avoiding him.
Thanks a lot, Taylor. Then there is Troy, who has captured my heart.
Hadassah returned to the present.
Where's Taylor?
Brady grabbed her luggage as he kissed her cheek. "Hello to you, beautiful." Hadassah responded with a stiff hug. Taylor was on the way, and she noticed that she had a flat tire. "She knew I could get here quicker since one of our stores is by the airport." Hadassah realized she was being ungrateful. She smiled genuinely.
Thank you, Brady, for picking me up.
She gave him another hug and a quick kiss on the cheek. It was apparent he would be a great husband and father one day. Although she had zero desire to live in Alaska, she could possibly picture this man being her husband. However, a picture of Troy being her husband appeared in her mind. Hadassah was beyond confused. It was a gorgeous day. Beautiful snow-capped mountains and trees surrounded the city of Anchorage. Although it was summer, it was very chilly compared to Atlanta's hot, sticky, and humid summers. Brady opened the trunk of his Yukon and neatly put Hadassah's luggage inside. He opened the passenger door and assisted Hadassah as she sat down. Her stomach suddenly growled loudly. Brady and Hadassah laughed loudly in unison. "Are you hungry?" Hadassah nodded her head dramatically. "Let's get some pizza from Moose's Tooth Pub and Pizzeria. Then I'll drop you off at Taylor's." Hadassah agreed with a nod. They drove down the highway in a comfortable silence. They passed by a gigantic moose and its calf, eating vegetation on the side of the road. Brady opened the door to Moose Tooth Pub and Pizzeria. It had a wild Alaskan vibe. The aroma of pizza, brewed beer, and delicious food permeated the air. Hadassah could not wait to devour her food. "How many will be dining?" A friendly waiter approached the couple. "2. May we have a booth, please?" Brady replied. The waiter took them to a booth in the back of the restaurant. He placed the menu before them. "What beverage would you like to drink? Our brewed beer is all the rage of Anchorage. Ladies first, of course." Hadassah smiled at the waiter.
I'll take a barley wine. Thank you.
"I'll take a Belgian ale and a glass of water," Brady replied as he examined the menu. The waiter left the table. Hadassah studied Brady's attractive features while he was absorbed in the menu. He was such a good man. Last summer, when she visited Alaska, she had an amazing time. Hadassah was heartbroken from a serious relationship that had recently ended. She wanted nothing more than to have a pity party. However, Taylor was determined to get her out of that funk. Taylor took her to a fraternity party that was held on campus. It was surprisingly packed for a city this size. The atmosphere was vibrant. There was a live rock band playing on stage, lots of food, and plenty of adult beverages begging to be devoured. Taylor's ex-boyfriend Johnson was in the fraternity, and Brady was his frat brother. Johnson introduced Brady to Hadassah. Up to this point, Hadassah was usually only attracted to black men. However, Brady was very handsome, confident, and was sculpted like a Greek god. That gorgeous smile with a slight gap made him look extremely appetizing. It was apparent Brady had a few drinks in his system. He boldly expressed to Hadassah that she was an exotic beauty, with skin that looked like cinnamon and hair that he wanted to wrap his fingers around. Hadassah knew he was exaggerating. There was not a huge population of blacks that resided in Alaska. The majority came from being stationed at the United States Air Force or the Army bases. Hadassah always stood out with her eyes from her Chinese father, long eyelashes, flawless brown skin, and thick, long, coily hair. Hadassah loved playing hard to get and had a well-known reputation of being stuck up in Atlanta. However, at the time, her bruised heart was enjoying the distraction and attention from Brady. Hadassah decided to live in the moment and enjoy all that her heart desired. Brady told her to save him a dance. She saved him all her dances, and their night concluded with a passionate kiss. They were inseparable last summer. Brady took her exploring all over Anchorage and the surrounding areas. They went hiking in the mountains, fishing for wild salmon, whitewater rafting in the Kenai River, exploring the wilderness by train to Denali, out to various restaurants and local concerts. Although they were not an official couple, she met his parents last summer. They had a beautiful, large log cabin home with a mountain view on a beautiful lake. Brady's father was friendly and a man of few words. However, Brady's mother made it clear of her dislike for Hadassah. Initially, Brady's mother thought Hadassah was a fortune hunter. However, Brady shared with his mother the status of her family's wealth, position, and influence in Atlanta. Although Brady's family was a wealthy and influential family in Anchorage, they could not compare to the Jacksons. Then there was Brady's ex-girlfriend, Alexis Popescu. His mother enjoyed bringing her into their conversation. There was a picture on the mantel of the fireplace of Alexis. Brady's mother made sure Hadassah was aware of Brady's history with Alexis during the first visit. She was an extremely beautiful woman from Romania with blonde hair and auburn streaks. Apparently, Brady and Alexis dated for years. However, Brady did not like to discuss Alexis and would purposely change the subject. Since Brady and Hadassah had not been official, she did not pressure him. Hadassah thought, at that time, she was developing strong feelings for Brady last summer. As time went forward, she realized she used Brady to nurse the wounds from her heartbreak. Before she left Anchorage that summer, they agreed to keep in touch. A month later, after being home, she found out she was pregnant. Hadassah was extremely torn and filled with anxiety. She made a vow years ago, after she lost her virginity, that she would never have an abortion. Although her parents were far from religious, they frowned upon illegitimate babies and took marrying into the right bloodline seriously. Hadassah had just graduated from college and was starting her new career. She refused to tell Brady. She knew that he was an honorable man and would be strongly against her getting an abortion. In addition, he would feel obligated to marry Hadassah. There was a small voice that pleaded with her thoughts not to get an abortion. However, she chose to ignore that voice. She was not ready to be tied down. The waiter sat a delicious tray of large, gourmet pepperoni pizza in the center of the table. "Be careful, it's extremely hot." The aroma was heavenly. Brady grabbed 4 slices of pizza, while Hadassah grabbed 2.
This is so yummy. I missed this place when I returned home to Atlanta.
Hadassah giggled. "This was the first restaurant I brought you to after we met." Brady had a faraway look in his eyes. Hadassah suddenly felt an uncomfortable tension permeating the atmosphere. Brady looked across the table. "Hadassah, I'm so glad you're here. These last few months, I feel like you have been intentionally avoiding me." Hadassah knew she owed him some explanation, even if it was not the full truth. She opened her mouth to respond.
Brady!
A familiar-looking woman interrupted Hadassah as she walked towards their table. She had a thick Romanian accent. "Alexis, hey!" Brady's expression turned serious. Alexis was even more gorgeous in person. She was wearing a fitting tank top emphasizing a large bust and small waist with tight bootcut denims. Hadassah felt jealousy rise within. "Alexis, this is Hadassah. She just arrived from Atlanta." Brady looked extremely uncomfortable or irritated. It was hard for Hadassah to discern. Hadassah made up her mind that she was not about to be intimidated or jealous.
Nice to meet you.
Hadassah forced herself to smile. "Hello," Alexis responded snobbishly. Alexis turned her full attention to Brady. "You left your watch at my house. I dropped it off at your parents' home a few days ago." Alexis whined.
I need to go to the ladies' room.
Hadassah looked at Brady as she slid out of the booth. Hadassah used the toilet, washed her hands, and adjusted her braids. She was extremely heated. Apparently, Brady still had something going on with his ex-girlfriend, Alexis. Brady had her feeling guilty for avoiding him the last few months. However, it did not appear that Brady had been lonely between his sheets or pining away for Hadassah in Alaska. Hadassah began to feel justified for avoiding Brady. "You're a hypocrite," a thought suddenly popped into her head. Hadassah was shocked. She rarely felt bad for her actions in relationships. Although she was quick to see others' fault, sometimes she missed the plank in her own eye. The accusation about being a hypocrite slightly bothered her. Hadassah walked back to the table, confidently, with her head held high.
This Alaska Last Frontier chick does not know me. I have no reason to be shaken because she has a history with Brady. I'm Hadassah Jackson.
She giggled quietly as she approached their booth. It appeared Brady and Alexis were ending a heated conversation.
I'm ready to go see Tay-Tay.
Hadassah rudely interrupted. Alexis gave Hadassah a look of irritation. "I'll catch up with you later, Brady." He looked extremely frustrated as he nodded his head. Alexis walked away from their table. They left the restaurant after Brady paid for their order. Brady appeared to be in a sour mood. Hadassah was not used to seeing him this way. It was foreign to Hadassah to see this side of Brady. They rode to Taylor's home in silence. They pulled up to a cute little cabin at the bottom of the mountain, surrounded by a river. Last year, Daddy came to help Taylor find a new home. She desired to live off campus and closer to nature. She complained she was sick of campus life. In Taylor's little community, there were several homes nearby. However, the gorgeous trees gave an abundance of privacy. Taylor's little cabin had 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a great room with gigantic windows, a quaint little kitchen, and a cute loft. Taylor's home's decor was inviting, feminine, and cozy. Brady grabbed Hadassah's luggage and helped her climb down from his Yukon. They both walked to the entrance of the cabin in silence, passing Taylor's Jeep and porch swing. Without warning, Taylor burst through the front door with excitement. "Dassa!" The sisters greeted with an affectionate hug, speaking words of happiness and crying tears of joy. Taylor had grown up to be a gorgeous woman. She looked like a typical model, with an oval-shaped face and long blonde hair placed into a messy bun. Taylor sported a University of Alaska anchored sweatshirt with fitted bootcut jeans and a pair of flip-flops. "Thank you, Brady, for picking Dassa up," Taylor responded as they walked into the cozy great room. Brady gently placed Hadassah's luggage against the wall. "It was no problem," he responded, with a serious expression on his handsome face. "I'll talk to you later, Hadassah."
Thank you, Brady.
Hadassah followed him as he exited the front door. Taylor gave her a puzzled look. "What's that all about, sissy?" Hadassah chuckled as she shook her head.
I'll tell you all about that later.
Chapter 7.
Watch out, Tay-Tay!
Hadassah yelled as she skated towards Taylor. However, it was too late. A little boy slammed directly into Taylor. They giggled loudly. Hadassah and Taylor were skating at an ice rink inside of Diamond Mall. Diamond Mall is in Anchorage. It possessed 6 stories with an ice rink on the bottom floor, surrounded by a food court. Hadassah quickly reached down to help Taylor and the little boy.
Tay-Tay, I think we should take a break and eat some lunch.
"I am starving, girl," Taylor replied as she rubbed her sore bottom. Taylor sported a pair of trendy bootcut jeans with a fitted bebe t-shirt. Her beautiful blonde hair hung down in layers, accessorized with long, silver dangly earrings. "You okay, little man?" Taylor asked the little boy with a concerned expression. He shook his head with a huge grin and continued skating. He apparently enjoyed the attention from two beautiful ladies. Hadassah wore gaucho pants with a cute designer top. Her micro braids were styled up in a high bun, completed with a cute headband and large hoop earrings. "What do you have the taste for, Hadassah?" "I'm thinking Chinese food for me. I've been eating a lot of food on campus lately." She frowned. "I need some braised wings and shrimp fried rice in my life." Taylor licked her lips with anticipation.
That pizza that Brady and I ate after we left the airport was off the chain.
Hadassah's stomach growled.
But I'll probably get a gyro with fries.
Hadassah and Taylor were seated near the ice rink, devouring their food in a comfortable silence. "This is so yummy. Have you heard from Brady?" Taylor stated in between chewing her food.
No, I haven't. Not since the night I arrived a few days ago. He seemed really out of his element after we ran into Alexis.
Hadassah responded with a confused look on her face. She dipped her curly fries into a container of ketchup.
Honestly, I need the space anyways. I feel sort of guilty for not being honest. However, I don't know why because I know it was the right choice. It is my body. I have my own life to live. I'm not ready to be chained. Girl, then there is Troy. But at the same time, my relationship isn't official with either of them.
Girl, this sounds like something off of Maury, Jerry Springer, or Ricky Lake.
Hold up, Tay. I'm not letting you off the hook. What about Johnson? I thought you said y'all broke up at the beginning of this year.
Hadassah stated as she rolled her eyes. "What can I say?" Taylor pretended to look offended. "I have a weakness for dark chocolate, muscular physiques, and dreads. It's just something about a fine black man." Taylor expressed with a huge grin on her face. They both burst out with loud giggles. People began staring at their table. Taylor grabbed a few fries from Hadassah's plate. "Speaking of Johnson, we were just invited to go camping, fishing for salmon, and whitewater rafting at the Kenai River this Friday. There will be several people joining who attend the university with us." Taylor looked at Hadassah with a questionable expression.
I'm down. It's not like I have plans.
Taylor's phone rang loudly as they entered the cozy cabinet. "It's Daddy," she responded with a huge grin. Taylor was Daddy's girl and adored Wang Jackson. Although Taylor was adopted as a baby into a predominantly African-American family, she knew she was equally loved. During childhood, Hadassah was glued to Mama's hip. However, Taylor constantly clung to Daddy. "Hey, Daddy," Taylor responded as she switched the phone to speaker. "Good afternoon, my beautiful daughter." Daddy's deep and smooth voice echoed.
Hey, Daddy.
Hadassah joined the conversation. "Hey, Dassa, I am a blessed man to have 3 beautiful daughters indeed. What have y'all been up to in the beautiful and cold last frontier?"
Daddy, we just got back from the ice rink at Diamond Mall. We literally just walked into the door when you called me.
Taylor kneeled to remove her shoes.
Tay-Tay fell down on her butt, Dad.
"How did that happen?" Daddy asked. "A little boy ran into me," Taylor responded as she gently shoved Hadassah into the large sectional. They conversed with Daddy for approximately 30 minutes until his call was dropped accidentally. "That's the one thing I hate about living out here, is the bad cell phone reception," Taylor complained as she got comfortable on the couch. "When is the last time you talked to Mommy?" Taylor reached for the remote and turned on the television.
She called me while I was at the airport waiting for my flight in Denver.
Hadassah replied with a frown.
I don't know, Tay. It has not been the same since we had that conversation about how she got with Daddy. I feel like I've been duped.
Hadassah sighed as she propped her feet on top of the ottoman. "Over the years, Hadassah, you have idolized Mommy, and now you are realizing that she is human and not perfect. I think you should forgive her or have an honest conversation." Hadassah reflected on Taylor's words about choosing to forgive or having an honest conversation with Mama as she prepared for bed. Truthfully, she preferred not to have a conversation. Hadassah had enough on her plate at the present, dealing with Brady and Troy. Hadassah's cell rang loudly, interrupting her thoughts.
Speaking of the devil,
Hadassah responded with a smile. Hadassah answered in a surprised tone.
hey, Troy.
Hey, Dassa, you sound surprised.
Troy chuckled. Honestly, she was beyond exhilarated to hear from Troy. That night he spent over was one she could never forget. However, they both have been occupied lately. The status of their relationship was up in the air, and neither expressed making the relationship official.
I am surprised. I know we've both been busy with work and my preparation for Alaska. I am happy to hear your voice.
Hadassah pulled back the covers and climbed into bed. Man, same here. The truth is, I have been missing you. Troy's voice was husky, deep, and smooth like a river. Hadassah felt butterflies stirring in her tummy.
I miss you too.
Dassa, Troy paused. When you get back, we need to have a conversation. I don't want to do it over the phone. Hadassah felt excitement bubbling within.
Okay, Troy. I'll be back home in about a week.
They talked about Hadassah's visit in Alaska, Troy's mundane work week, Atlanta gossip, and ended the call. Hadassah drifted off to sleep with a smile plastered on her face. There was a knock on the door that interrupted Hadassah's sleep.
I hope Taylor gets the door.
She pondered. Hadassah! Taylor yelled. Brady's at the door! Hadassah sleepily got out of the bed and tied on her robe. It was the middle of the night. She wondered what possessed Brady to disturb her sleep during this ungodly hour. As she walked to the front door, Brady began yelling loudly. Where is Hadassah? I cannot believe that she did this to me. She's a liar. Taylor was trying to help Brady calm down. Brady, you need to chill. Hadassah will be out in a moment. Taylor responded calmly. The neighbors would indeed call the sheriff if Brady did not cease his yelling. This eerie feeling descended upon Hadassah. She felt goosebumps tingling all over her body. An alarm went out within her that something was indeed wrong. Hadassah walked up to the door. Brady, what's going on? He was extremely irate. Brady's face was red. You could see the green veins pulsing through his temple. His shirt was covered and drenched in blood. In Brady's hand was something wrapped in a bundle of cloth. Tears began rolling down his cheeks. How could you, Hadassah?
Brady, what in the world are you talking about? You really need to chill. You are beyond tripping.
Hadassah backed away from Brady. She did not trust his mental state and began feeling concerned for their safety. Tay-Tay, go call Johnson, she mouthed to Taylor. Taylor ran quickly from the room. You've got some explaining to do, Brady demanded. He opened the bundle of cloth in his hand. Hadassah let out a scream, ran to Taylor's room, and locked the door. Taylor, call the cops! Brady has a small dead baby in his hands! Suddenly, the door began shaking as Brady banged on Taylor's bedroom door. Taylor and Hadassah clung to each other with fear. Open up the door, Hadassah! Brady yelled. You killed our baby! You never told me that you were pregnant! Suddenly, Hadassah woke up in a cold sweat.
It was just a really bad dream,
she whispered. After the dream she had about Brady, she had another disturbing dream. A little girl appeared to be 5 years old. She was beautiful, biracial with curly hair, and had big, beautiful eyes that framed a heart-shaped face. The words she spoke would forever haunt Hadassah. In the dream, Hadassah was driving home alone. Apparently, Hadassah was married in this dream and had several children. It was late at night when Hadassah pulled into the driveway. Hadassah lived in a beautiful and luxurious home with her family. Hadassah stepped out of her vehicle, a modern minivan. A little girl with familiar features whom she never met stepped out of the bushes. Hadassah was caught off guard.
Where's your mommy?
Hadassah bent down and looked into the girl's eyes.
Right there.
The little girl responded in a high-pitched voice as she pointed at Hadassah. She looked behind her to see if the little girl's mother appeared. However, she saw no one. Hadassah was puzzled. I don't see your mommy or anyone around. It is too late and dangerous for a pretty little girl to be out here alone. We need to find your parents. The little girl looked into Hadassah's eyes intensely.
You are my mommy, but you did not want me. My daddy would have taken care of me. You never told him.
The little girl began sobbing quietly. Suddenly, a light bulb turned on in Hadassah's mind. Hadassah realized the little girl looked like a mixture of Brady and her. Hadassah became overwhelmed with sorrow and regret. Tears began streaming down her face. Hadassah dropped to her knees.
Please forgive me, baby. I never meant to hurt Brady or you.
Hadassah leaned forward to embrace the little girl. However, she disappeared into thin air. Hadassah was relieved when she woke up and realized all of it was a dream. However, her heart became heavy with regret for the first time. It was like a heavy load was set upon her chest. Hadassah now regretted the decision to abort their baby and for hiding it from Brady. Hadassah's little girl's words from the dream echoed in her head. You are my mommy, but you did not want me. My daddy would have taken care of me. You never told him. Hadassah sobbed quietly and returned to a fitful sleep.
Tiffany, what is going on?
Whoa.
Tiffany? Tiffany!
Brittany, girl, I'm sorry. Hadassah and her crazy dreams.
The dreams aren't the problem.
Please enlighten me then.
The transitions are.
What transitions?
Exactly. There aren't any. It's nearly impossible to tell when reality stops and one of her crazy dreams start. There is absolutely zero transitions.
And then we be looking crazy because we think the dreams are a continuation of the story. There is no warning.
Exactly.
But Brady was fine, though.
He was, but Troy be
what?
Troy be Troying.
And we finally got to see Tay-Tay.
She's so cute. She's all grown up now. She's so pretty.
And her and Hadassah have such a good relationship. It was so worth the wait.
Yeah, I so thought that dream was real and Brady was gonna pop off.
For real. And the part with her daughter was so sad. Girl, I almost cried with Hadassah. This is a crazy love triangle, though. Don't forget to like the video. It helps a lot.
And if you want to help even more, subscribe.
Hit that bell so you'll be notified when we drop the next episode.
See you later.
I know that I look like I got it all together, lying to myself like I'm down for whatever. Time to put up walls cause I'm catching feelings, afraid to get hurt. What I need is some healing. Where are you?